Hi everybody, it's Kat again from How to Draw Cool Stuff, and I'm back today to retry my Hokusai inspired artwork. Last time I tried the scrape painting technique, which was super fun, but not really feasible for a classroom full of students, especially when paint is not a cheap thing to purchase. So I'm going to try a little something different. Being inspired by the great wave of Kanagawa. Here we have a little Mount Fuji in the background. Great waves, nice little stripes. Can you see those individual stripes of color happening there? Some light blue, dark blue, and then these little fingers coming off. We're not going to be that detailed, but we're going to be inspired by the lines and patterns that are happening in there. So to start off, I just want to give myself a quick and easy sketch. Nothing too greatly detailed. Some light lines as to where certain things are going to go. A little bit of foam, some foam, just real quick. All of our detail is going to happen with the marker. So to start off, I'm going to use some warm colors, some yellow, some peach, and some orange to do the background with. So my lightest area is going to be, it'll be a little bit different than this. I think I'm going to go opposite. Oh, maybe I won't. Let's do dark to light. So it's sort of dark here and it gets a little bit lighter. So I'll try the same thing. With some quick lines, quick wispy lines, I'm going to fill in my background. This is my orange. I want to go overlap a little bit with some peach. So I'm going to do a little bit of overlapping inside my marker area. I think the more colors that you have to add to something, the more beautiful it becomes. Don't forget the other side. Just little wispy skinny lines. This is a conical tip. You don't want to use the fat end. You want to use the pointy part so you can get some nice fine points of line. And the reason is because we're going to blend these. You really can't blend marker too much, right? But some markers, usually water-based markers, you can blend with a little bit of water and get an interesting look. So this is an experiment. We'll see how it looks. I'm going to throw some yellow down in here too. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of yellow. Okay, we've got our lines there. I'm going to take my water. This is just plain old water. I'm going to go over the area that I just drew on. And it's very subtle, but what is happening is it's acting like watercolor and blending to a certain extent. You'll see it when I get down here with the darker colors. See it happening? It's light, it's subtle, it's beautiful. With water-based markers or washable markers, I bet it would be a lot more intense than this. These are not washable markers, but they are water-based, so they do run to a certain extent. But look at that nice, subtle blend from light to dark. That's my sky. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and do the waves. Got a whole bunch of different colors for the waves. There's really only two different shades happening here, two different shades of blue, but I might take some purple, I might take some green, or I might just even take these two. It's all personal preference. And the key is to draw in the direction that the wave curves. The wave is curving this way, so I want to draw in the direction that the wave curves. So using my light wispy lines again, leaving some room for the foam. I'm really just keeping my wrist still, moving mostly my fingers. Maybe do a little outline of the underside of the foam. Curve those lines. Curve, curve, curve. This is my foam again. foam, and just tiny little wisps. Once you get this little motion down, you'll be an expert. Just takes a couple tries. Just make sure it's going in the right direction. So I've got one little lay down of blue. I'm going to try my next lay down of this turquoise color. It doesn't have to be perfect. Get it in there. Still following the same direction. One tip is maybe to make it a little bit darker underneath where the wave falls, so you have a little bit more of an intense shadow almost, but still basically just using line. This is where we can use our fat conical end. Conical meaning cone, as in cone shaped. Follow the direction that the waves and the water flows. That's when you're coloring using marker, that's one of the tips to make things look more realistic, is to follow the form of the object that you're drawing when you're shading. Maybe I'll throw a little bit of purple in there. A little bit of purple. Can't really tell too much of a difference yet. Just a little bit. And then make a couple little dots just in this foamy part, because eventually I'm going to take a little bit of paint, cover over that. Oh, that's my mountain in the background. I don't want to forget about that. So we'll do some purples for that. Got another purple here too. The more different colors you can throw in there, the more beautiful and interesting it's going to be. So let's give it a shot. Get out the water. Paint in the direction. Look at that beautiful, beautiful blue that's happening. A little bit into the white too. We're just blending. This is gorgeous. A lot less of a mess. So if you're doing this with a whole class, although scrape painting, there's something to be said for it. It's very, very freeing and satisfying, but gosh, the mess, especially when you're picking up after people. I'm a mom, but I'm not their mom. Not my student's mom. Sometimes I feel like everybody's mom. You know what I mean? Anyway, gonna get my little mountain back there. And I'm not using too much water, just a little bit. It's all you need. Too much water will wrinkle and buckle the paper, especially if it's not watercolor paper, which this is not. This is a cardstock. But gorgeous. So the next step is to add a little bit of white paint. And I might even go in and intensify my shadows of these foam just a little bit. And it's okay to do this on the wet because it's not super wet and we're not going to destroy our marker by doing it. If it were a Sharpie, it probably wouldn't work. Let's get the bottoms of my waves here. The bottom meaning the lower part. And then we'll go in with the paints. A little bit of acrylic. Really, you don't need much more than that. We can create some nice texture. Cover over this a little bit. Some of the marker is still on the end of my brush, so I have that pretty blue that's being pulled around throughout the work. And this is just a quick, less than 10-minute video. If you spend some time with this, you could probably get it looking even better. We have some of these little lines coming down. So it looks like a painting, but it was really mostly marker. This is just the final touch. You definitely want to do this last. And once you add the paint to it, don't use marker anymore because this will kill your marker. Maybe a little thicker in some spots. we're not going for an exact likeness of the Hokusai artwork. We're going for our own interpretation. And gorgeous. You could sit here and tweak this until you're happy, which I would like to do, but I'm going to stop just for the sake of keeping this video somewhat short. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I enjoyed making it. This was a lot of fun, and my cleanup is pretty much non-existent. Hokusai inspired. Check out how this marker is coming through too. You might need a couple coats to sort of hide some of those lines. Lovely. And there you have it. Hokusai in 10 minutes. See you next time on How to Draw Cool Stuff.